Hello people, welcome back to the channel everyone, and here to discuss the latest situation with Arsenal, what's been happening and any themes that are going around at the moment, how we're shaping up moving forward into the next section of matches in the season. So since we last did a video on this channel people, Arsenal have recorded 2 wins in the Premier League, one against West Ham and the other one against Burnley, and in the process we've scored 11 goals, 6-0 win against West Ham and a 5-0 win against Burnley. Now it really does showcase a continuation of the form that we initially exhibited in those first few matches after the winter break. So Arsenal went away to Dubai after we got knocked out to Liverpool in the FA Cup, and we've come back, beaten Nottingham Forest 5-0. Beating Crystal Palace 5-0, Nottingham Forest 2-1, Liverpool 3-1, and then these 2 heavy scoring away victories that I've just mentioned. So clearly the players are in great shape. I feel like it's testament to the early season strategy from Arteta, in the sense of just withholding some energy in the playing style, maybe playing a little bit more deliberately, more of a containing style rather than a full throttle, high octane energy. And as a result, I feel like Arsenal are pacing themselves nicely for the business end of the season as that approaches. So in terms of these games though people, there have really been some standout performers. Martin Odegaard, people, I actually mentioned him following the Liverpool game because I thought his performance went somewhat unnoticed, but he's just going from strength to strength and leading the team exceptionally well. The way he links the play is, for me, second to very few. He'll pick up spaces, and the weight of his passing is just so perfect. He'll play it off in such a way that the next player will receive it at the perfect weight so that they can then do their action. So he's combining the moves so well, and he'll sometimes do it in a first touch layoff as he receives the ball, one touch, or he'll take it down, notice the runner and pick a pass. His progressive passing is just incredible. I just really think he's been to the fore, people. We've seen, I think, 3 assists from Odegaard in the past couple of games, plus a fantastic goal against Burnley to open the scoring. So I really do want to keep singing the praises of the Arsenal captain, and I just feel he's such a gracious player as well, and how he relates to opposing players, how he encourages his own players is very classy and it's very humane, and I just feel like he's a wonderful leader and a real symbol of this team. And I feel, along with Bukayo Saka, I feel they both lead this team so well, and Saka's the next person I want to focus on because I just think he as well is going from strength to strength. He's really finding those 3rd and 4th gears. I still think he's got another gear to find, but I think he is moving through the tempos, people, as we move again into this, let's say, 3rd quarter of the season. And he's scoring goals. He scored 4 in his last 2 games. He's perfecting that low penalty to the bottom right corner. He's starting to show a little bit more purpose and verve when he gets on the ball rather than maybe hesitating. We saw a little bit of perhaps hesitancy or surveillance of options in the first section of the season, where he was maybe taking slightly longer to do his actions, but now he's getting the ball and he's very decisive, single-minded. He knows what he wants to do. He's getting into the box and he's converting chances. He's getting on the end of things and nearly scoring more, and you feel like his growth and the goals we're going to keep seeing from him as we move into this next phase of the season. Declan Rice, people, has also been very solid in that midfield, breaking up the play, doing the dirty work, intercepting just as opponents are about to make that final pass or play the final shot. He's been really good with that. David Raya, people, has been absolutely brilliant, I think. I think he's been the most underrated player for Arsenal this season, because I think in the whole Raya Ramsdale debate, what was lost was the feeling that, hang on a minute, this guy David Raya is actually doing a really good job. And whilst there were a couple of mistakes in his early games, I feel like the vast majority of his displays have been assured. He's been commanding on crosses, his distribution is fantastic, and he's doing everything that's being asked of him, and he's very comfortable receiving the ball from Saliba, from Gabriel, even when he's being pressed by the striker of the opposing team. He doesn't panic, he'll take it, and he'll play a square pass across the 6-yard box to one of the centre-halves, and it's no issue. So I feel like he is part of the reason why we're playing well. David Raya has been excellent. And I also think Leandro Trossard, people, what a player. I really rate Trossard, people. He's coming into his own in that false nine position. Again, such balance and low centre of gravity. The way he can weave in and out of players and throw people off balance, shimmying one way then the other, creating room for a shot. And his shooting has been so precise and accurate and hard. To be honest, he could have had more goals, which is something I'm sure he'll be aware of. The fact he's missed a few chances. He could have had a hat-trick against Burnley, but a couple of moments he just didn't quite convert. But being the clinical and composed player he is in front of goal, I don't think that's a trend we'll see continue. I think he's going to start finding goals in clusters now. I think he'll start getting 2s and 3s in matches. And I don't see any sign that this goal-scoring form is going to stop people, because we're doing it within our capabilities. Like, it feels controlled. It doesn't feel like we're going out on a limb or we're risking too much to score some of these goals. And in fact, we're actually still missing bunches of chances and winning 5 and 6-0. We're scoring from set pieces. We're in both corners, headers, and also penalty kicks. So we're actually creating lots of different types of opportunity, which I'm really thrilled about. And I'm definitely taking the position, people, let's keep moving in process goals. Let's keep focusing on action tasks, recovery goals, strategy goals that we want to implement in the upcoming matches, both individually and collectively as a group, rather than getting distracted and allowing other people's pressure to enter into our way of going. So if other people are going to talk about title races, that doesn't enter my mind, people. And I wouldn't want it to enter the minds of the players either. I would want them to just keep doing what they're doing and stay focused on the actual process goals, people, that they need to perform. So when I say a process goal, people, I'm thinking about what needs to be done. So how can I prepare? What do I need to do against a given opponent? What is my specific requirement to do in this game? Do I need to play a more defensive role? Do I need to step into a particular pocket of the pitch a little bit more? Do I need to link up with a particular player a little bit more? When I'm closing in on the goal, do I need to pass? Do I need to be aware of a certain runner coming in? So all of these process goals and strategy goals, I want the players to be thinking about going into matches, rather than we need to win, we need to keep the pressure on X, Y, or Z. Don't worry about other external teams or external pressures. We want to focus on what needs to be done in order for us to optimize our performances. I think that's the key for me, people. How do we optimize our level? And if we optimize our level, let's see where that takes us in the final analysis. But the final analysis is an accumulation. It's a sum of all the parts that will happen over the next few weeks. And that's why I want us to stay focused on each step as it comes. So it's very much the message, people, that I want Mikel to keep reinforcing, and also the players to keep believing and feeling, and also the fan base to not get carried away with any thoughts of trophies at this point. We just want to stay focused on a game-by-game, a day-by-day approach, also in training, how we're recovering. I think these are important components as well as we build into the next busy part of the season, like keeping our being, our mind, our body as fresh as possible and as sharp as possible moving into these next challenges that are going to be approaching, which obviously starts tonight UK time, and that's going to be Arsenal against Porto in Portugal. The last 16 of the Champions League, Arsenal away from home, and again I want to see that the manager Mikel is utilising his squad well. I want to see canny team selection. So obviously we play Newcastle on Saturday, and I want us to be aware of that. I don't want it. I want Mikel to be aware of that. Obviously the players have to go in there with very much a focus on the Porto game, but I want to see Mikel being able to ensure that across these next 2 games we can spread our resources as optimally as possible, spread our energy as optimally as possible. Does that mean bringing Jorginho in for this game, giving Havertz or Trossard a rest and getting them back on the weekend? Does it mean Gabriel Jesus comes back? Has Gabriel Jesus been saved for this match? If so, I think that's very intelligent strategy from Arteta. Is Gabriel Jesus being held back for the Champions League? If so, that could give Trossard a rest for the Newcastle game, because he's in such a rich vein of form in the Premier League. So I want to see the boys very focused on this match, but I want to also feel like Arteta is aware that this match falls into a bigger picture as well. So that's what I'll say, people. We'll come back after this next Porto game, moving into the Newcastle game, what we learned from that European match, moving into the weekend, because I know we're focusing on Porto, but just with a brief look at Newcastle, I think they're a little bit of a bogey team for us. I just feel like the last couple of years we've struggled. They've seemed to raise their game. Their fans have been very animated for the Arsenal game. I think Eddie Howe, for some reason, I think he's particularly motivated when he plays Arsenal. Maybe it's because he was rumoured to be the manager to follow Arsene Wenger at one point when he was doing so well as Bournemouth manager. I know Arsenal were linked with Bruno Guimaraes, who didn't end up signing for Arsenal. Maybe there's a little bit of a tension there, potentially, but for whatever reason I feel like Newcastle do pull out all the stops to try and beat us. So I think that game is trickier than it may appear on paper, given Newcastle's run over the last few games and their form that we've seen them on. So that's why I want Mikel to be thinking a little bit strategically about how can we optimise both games, Porto and Newcastle, because I think there is a little bit of thinking ahead that needs to go into his preparations. Okay, people, that's what I'll leave with for now. But as I say, we'll check back in after the Porto game and before that Newcastle game. All right, people, peace.